Hi, my name is Jada Mims, and in this video, I will be sharing what I learned about myself through 4 different personality and learning assessments. I'll also discuss how these insights shaped my view of myself as a future healthcare executive, as well as my leadership strengths, areas for growth, and my overall leadership style. My emotional intelligence test revealed that I scored high in self-management at 8 and social awareness at 7, while relationship management was a bit lower at 6 and self-awareness scored the lowest at 5. I found this especially insightful because although I have a strong self-control and show transparency and empathy in my actions, I recognize I could benefit from becoming more intentionally self-aware. I agree with the results, especially the areas where I can improve, such as managing relationships and tuning in more consciously to how I present myself and how I'm perceived in the moment. When looking at the brain hemisphere assessment, I scored a 12, placing me right on the cusp between left and right-brained. Although slightly more aligned with the right, this means I lean towards creativity, intuition, and big picture thinking. But I still retain the ability to use structured, logical approaches. I'm in full agreement with this result. It reflects my experience as a type A personality who also has relaxed, flexible traits common to type B personalities. I can be methodological and also open to abstract thinking. When looking at the Jungian personality assessment, according to this test, I am an introvert by 28%, an intuitive thinker by 6%, I focus more on thinking by 9%, and a judging perspective by 31%. This suggests that I have a moderate preference for working alone, thinking analytically, and making structured decisions. While I do agree with the results overall, I was surprised by how high my judging score was. I had predicted I would lean more toward perceiving due to my spontaneous decision-making style. It was actually fascinating how self-aware I was before even taking the test. My results were pretty similar as far as my prediction versus my real results. When looking at the VARK learning style assessment, my strongest learning styles are kinesthetic at a 10 and oral at 9, followed by reading and writing at 6 and visual at 1. This surprised me because I've always thought of myself as a visual learner. However, after reflecting, it makes sense. I learn best when I can apply concepts through experience, discussion, and trial and error. I focus on what's real and tangible, which aligns with how I approach leadership. I prefer actionable insight over theory. Now, looking at what I need to succeed as a healthcare executive, based on the readings in these assessments, one of the most important takeaways is that self-awareness and relationship building are essential to strong leadership. To be successful, I need to work on enhancing my emotional intelligence, particularly in how I build and manage professional relationships. I also need to lean into my strength as a kinesthetic learner by staying actively engaged in hands-on problem solving. Additionally, using both my structured and creative thinking styles will help me navigate the complex and fast-changing healthcare landscape while also maintaining empathy and clarity. When looking at my strengths and weaknesses, some of my core strengths include self-control, transparency, empathy, and the ability to work independently and analytically. I thrive when I can work towards meaningful goals in an organized environment. On the other hand, I know I can improve self-awareness, especially in social leadership settings, and I need to work on being more strategic in my relationship planning. I also want to be more flexible in decision-making and avoid over-relying on structure, and spontaneity might be more effective. Based on the assessments, my leadership style aligns most closely with a blended transformational and participative leadership. Thank you for watching. These assessments were a valuable reminder that leadership is a lifelong learning process.